it's a long story, but I used to, when I was, I don't know, 5 years ago, I used to pass out index cards, and I used to have students write information like what high schools you go to, who you work, what's your favorite color, things like that. And we would pass them around and see if we could guess who went to West Side and who went to Hannah and all this stuff. It was just something we did to kind of, I don't know, make the class a little bit more comfortable. Well, I quit doing it because people screwed it up. I mean, I'd put your favorite color and they'd put their favorite number. I mean, people just don't listen. So I quit doing it. But I did keep doing this because one of the things that I believe in, and these two guys have had me. Anybody else had me before? What y'all have me in?
Problem stat and quantitative reasoning.
Oh, okay.
It's been a while.
Algebra.
Oh, okay. You were in this class, wasn't you?
I remember that.
Are you on Curly?
No, that my fiance is, or crap.
Okay. Wait a minute. You're Hobie's brother.
Yeah.
Good gracious. That's been a while. Okay. How's Hobie doing? Has he graduated Clemson yet?
Not yet.
Well, he will one day.
One day.
All right. Anybody in here, these four guys can tell you that I'd like to have a comfortable class. All right? Comfortable class means, people like to talk, people like to ask questions, people don't feel intimidated by asking questions. So if you're one of the people in here that have been in calculus, then you just stay home. Okay? Everybody understand that? What's the difference in somebody that knows calculus and somebody that invented calculus? The people that invented calculus or think they invented calculus usually answer the wrong and incorrect answers. Okay? If you know calculus, then just keep your mouth shut. All right? Because I'm not in here teaching you. I'm here teaching the person that's taken calculus 3 times. I'm in here teaching the person that had pre-calculus 2 or 3 years ago and don't remember it. Okay? I'm not here to have a pissing contest with somebody that wants to be a teacher, but they're taking their first year at Tri-County Tech. Okay? I'm not here to do that. There's my information. The best way to contact me is what? My cell phone. Wow. I didn't know it did that. Okay? The cell phone. All right? You can text me. If you don't feel comfortable texting me, you can call me. If you don't want to call my cell phone or text my cell phone, the best way to contact me after my cell phone is my office email, which is hmcclure@tctc.edu. Okay? So, there's that information. And you don't have to text me every time your grandmother dies, okay? For some of you that have 5 dead grandmothers. There are people that have 5 different grandmothers and they all die on test day. There is one other thing that I sent later, and that is the locator card. And the locator card is right here. This is outside my door. So if you choose not to keep it, which some of you will, choose not to keep it, and you don't know where I am, don't ask me. Just go look on my door or beside my door, and you'll see when my office hours is. Now, I don't hold too many office hours. And the reason that is because most of my classes are online. I don't know what I'm going to do with this class. Because y'all have the... Let's see, do y'all still get web-assigned stuff with your books? You do? Web-assigned sucks. Okay? It really does. And I have just about given up on it because it sucks so bad. If you know me, and 4 of y'all do, I'm very computer-oriented and I'm very online-ish, but I've given up on web-assigned. It's just... Students don't like it. I don't like it. Has anybody ever used it? What did you use it in? What class?
Pre-calc.
Okay. Did you like it?
It wasn't that bad. I had videos to teach you how to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that bad for me.
But it was it better than MyLab Plus or Course Compass? Did you use that while you were here?
Yeah, that was a while back.
Well, you can't remember then. But the whole point is, I don't like it because from a teaching aspect, it doesn't help the student as much as Course Compass does. So what I'm going to do is just do it the old conventional way, if that's okay with everybody. And also, Tri-County Tech's math department has also said that in calculus we will not do any more online testing. Okay? Now, I don't agree with that. I think the teacher ought to be able to do what they want to. And I fought it not just because I wanted to give you online testing, that's not it, but I think the teacher ought to have that freedom to do that. Their reasoning is this. Students are going to take classes at other colleges, and they ought to be used to taking class in tests, or taking tests in class. What have y'all been doing for the last 12, 15 years in high school? Taking tests where? In class. And I said that. I said, these people have been taking tests in class. It ain't like there's something new to them. But anyway, the powers above me prevailed, and they want to make the calculus students take tests in class. So that takes care of pretty much of the online testing. So I'm not going to use WebAssign. We will keep the homework in the book, and you can do odds or evens. I'm not going to sit here and check your homework or anything like that. But I will pick out problems that are beneficial for you to do. And I'll teach, and when I teach calculus, I don't teach every single, in other words, I'm not going to give you the homework. If there's 55 problems, I'm not going to say do 1 through 55 all. I'm going to pick out problems that really focus on the drill aspect. In Calculus 1, I need to drill and drill and drill and drill derivatives and antiderivatives in your head. Okay? That's basically what Calc 1 is. Drill, 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 drill. And that way, when you get to second calculus, you know how to take the antiderivative and you know how to take the derivative based on what we did in Calc 1. So I spend a lot of time on those two units. Okay? So if I give you problems, it's going to be, I don't care about the fluffy problems and the real easy problems at the beginning. I'm going to give you the meat of the homework and tell you these are the ones you need to focus on. Okay? So anyway, my office hours, I usually spend a lot of time, and these four guys can tell you, I do a lot of question from the students. The first 15, 20 minutes of class. So I don't have a lot of office. I do have office hours, but usually nobody comes because I do my office hours kind of in class. So we're going to work this together because this is the first time I've taught a calculus class conventionally in a long time, and not with the aid of the homework online and the test online. So we're going to be doing this together for the first time. Now the math I know, but the procedure is going to be a little bit different. So we'll work together on that. Let me go ahead and tell you right now, what I consider important for you is the 4-unit test, or the 3-unit test. We probably won't get to 4 because I hardly ever get to 4 in calculus because I spend so much time on the antiderivatives and the derivatives. So that's what you need to focus on, those unit tests. The final exam will be cumulative off of those unit tests. And I'm not going to, calculus is something that's multi-step. You're not just going to sit there and say true, false, true, false, true, false. So I have to fix the final to where you can do it in 2 hours and not do 5,000 questions. Because you got to take, it could be a final with 10 questions or 20 instead of 50 like in the other class. So we'll work on it together. But this is my office hours. Tuesday and Thursday is my light day. That's good for y'all because I have office hours right after class and right after lunch And if you're here on Tuesday and Thursday, Friday is the best day for office hours if you need extra help. Okay? Just a show of hands. How many of you, and don't be scared, I took Calculus 2 3 times. Okay? How many of you have had Calc 1 before? Anybody? This is your first time. Okay. How many of you have had, well, let me ask you, I know you had Calc 1, algebra, college algebra and trig under me. What did you have? Have you had pre-cal or, in the Clemson shirt?
I've had, I just took, trigonometry summer class.
Here at Tri-County?
Yeah, Tri-County.
Who'd you have?
Anzer.
Bless your heart.
I had algebra with you and then I had trig with California.
Okay, so we teach a lot alike.
Yeah.
She's a little bit more stern than I am. Yeah, she don't, but she's a good teacher. What'd you have? Pre-cal or?
I went to school like 2 years ago. I don't know what
Okay. Do you remember? Was it in high school or college? College.
Yeah, my freshman year. Yeah.
Okay. Was it pre-cal or you don't have any idea? Can't remember.
Pre-cal that time, and it was on. Yeah, I think it was pre-cal and algebra or something.
Okay. How about you?
Pre-cal last year.
Here or high school or high school? How about you?
101, 102, 110, 111 at Easley.
Easley. Okay, so did you take it at Midlands or? I'm sorry, at the Easley campus.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had the whole route. Who'd you have? Bert.
Miss Reed.
Yeah, Bert. She's having back surgery right now.
Trig, algebra, problem stat.
Okay, trig and algebra. Who'd you have for trig and algebra?
Took trig at Tech for California and then the other two at Clemson.
Okay, so you've had Califomo. She's a good one. Okay, what'd you have?
Pre-calculus in high school.
Okay, what's high school?
West Side.
Okay, what high school did you go to?
TLN.
Okay. Okay, you had me for what?
All my algebras, and then I had trig last semester.
Who'd you have?
The other math teacher that's here part-time, I don't know her name.
At the Anderson campus?
Yes.
Harbin?
Sounds familiar.
You don't even remember.
No, it
Must not have been that good. All right, what'd you have? I know you had me for problem stat or something.
Yeah, problem stat and quantitative reasoning, and then the pre-cal over the summer at Clemson.
Okay.
I had trig over the summer with Andy.
Okay.
I had pre-cal at Daniel.
Daniel?
Yes.
Pre-cal at Ren.
Pre-cal at Ren. Okay, so everybody in here has had pre-cal. We've had a couple of people that had had it in a while, so we will go over a little bit of trig and a little bit of algebra, kind of like get everybody up to snuff, because if I threw a rationalizing denominators up on the board right now, some of y'all would go, y'all would have the deer in the headlights look. We do need to go over a little bit of algebra, because does anybody know why people fail calculus? They don't know their algebra. That's why. So if you want to do anything this week to get ready for calculus, go get you an Algebra 1 for Dummies, an Algebra 2 for Dummy book, and go through it, because that's what we're going to do Wednesday or Thursday, whatever time y'all come back. When we come back, and we're going to get some in today, I'm going to start with some algebra, some real basic algebra, and we're going to review this week over algebra and trig, and just to, because I know if you haven't had it in a couple of years, you're rusty. And some of y'all, I don't know, you didn't say when you took it, but some of y'all are already okay. Some of you might be a little rusty. I don't know. So I want to make sure everybody is on the same sheet of music. Let's look at the syllabus. And there's only one thing I care about on the syllabus, and that's the last page. For those of you that have the syllabus, where's 140? 140, there it is. All this bureaucratic Columbia stuff, I don't care about it. Go down to the bottom, that's the most important page right there. Okay, now right here they have review, factoring, exponential, radical, logarithms, trigonometric, and inverse trigonometric formulas. We're going to do that. There's a little bit of review right here, and then we'll go into the tangent and the derivatives. I kind of go all over the place here. I don't spend a lot of time on theory. You'll pick up theory as you go through Calculus 1, 2, and 3. You're going to pick it up. I don't think too many of you are going into mathematics. Most of the students that come through Tri-County Tech that are taking Calc 1, 2, and 3 are going into the engineering. But if you're going into the math, you'll pick it up. You'll pick up the theory. Don't worry. But I don't spend a lot of time in theory. I do spend a lot of time explaining what calculus is. But that doesn't mean I get into a lot of the theory. And differential rules, these two units, basically the second part of this unit right there, and this unit is all derivatives. And then we get into the antiderivatives right here, and it goes on into the antiderivatives here. Okay? So that's basically what Calc 1 is. Derivatives and antiderivatives. But I want you to take that page out. This is the most important page that you need to bring to class right here. The second most important page is the page that says things you will be graded on. Here are things you will be graded on. Now, this says WebAssign. I'm not going to use WebAssign, but there are the weights right here for this class. 60% from the unit test, 20% from your final exam, and 20% from homework. I ain't figured out how I'm going to do homework yet. What I might do is give a pop quiz every week or something like that from the homework. And in other words, take 2 or 3 problems out of the homework, give a pop quiz, and then take that average, and that will be your average for homework. Something like that. I'm not going to spend a lot of time checking your homework and doing that. I'm not going to do that. But I will take problems out of the book, put it on a board, and then you do it, and you do good, then you have a good grade. And at the end of the semester, I'll take that average, and that'll be your homework average. Okay?
New Facebook message.
Something like that. Oh God, my phone went off. Everybody has to have a heart attack. Have you had teachers have a heart attack yet because your cell phone goes off? We'll talk about that. But anyway, this right here, the only thing I want you to worry about is this right there. And I will put questions on the test that pertains to these handouts. They're kind of like give me points questions. They're like a point, 2 points a piece or whatever. And one question is, how does Hubert weight his homework, test, and final exam? And this multiple choice and possible answers are 60, 20, 20, 30, 30, 30, duck, and water. I still have students miss it. They pick 30, 30, 30. What's wrong with 30, 30, 30? It's not 100. Equal to 100. Yep, I still have people miss it. But anyway, that's a little bit about just eliminate anything having to do with online, and we're going to do it conventionally. I will be lenient with you as far as test. I ain't quite figured out how I'm going to do the test, but we'll do something, and I'll try to keep it. I'll try to keep it fair, but I got to do what the department wants. So we'll work together on that. Another very important handout. What is this? The academic what? Calendar. Why do you need to know this? Well, that way you won't ask me stupid questions like, are we here for Labor Day? Are we? No. College is what? Closed. So you need to get your calendar out right now, and you need to write that down.
It's also Monday.
And it's also what?
Monday.
Yeah, it's also Monday too. Thank you. Last day of withdrawal from session A is October something. Hold on. Last day of withdrawal from session A is October what? 19th. You need to write that down. When is the last day of class for session A? November what? 24th. When is the final exams for Session A?
December 1st through the 7th.
And you need to write those down. So if you have this, you need to keep it, or you need to transfer some of these dates to your calendar. So you won't ask me about, because after today, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to depend on y'all to tell me when we don't have class. Okay? There's also a fall break in there. Where? October 12th and what? 13th. Trying to see if there's any other no class. I don't see any. So that's a very important. So the three most important handouts are your last page of your syllabi, things you will be graded on, and your academic calendar. Question on those? Okay, your book. Your book is not really important. I don't care what kind of book you use. Those of you that have WebAssign, you can use the book online. You can use an old book. You can use a new book. I don't care. Calculus has not changed in hundreds and hundreds of years. Thousands of years, really. Don't really care what kind of book you use. You can share a book. You can use an old book. I've got to go get my book, but we're going to go over algebra right now, so we're okay. But, you know, the only thing you have to realize when you use an old book is you're going to have to match up the sections. If we're using the new book and I'm going through 1.1, my 1.1 may be 1.3 in your book. So you need to learn how to do that, and that's not a big deal. So if you have an old calculus book, you're welcome to use it if you want to, but just don't, you know, spend a lot of time asking questions about what section you're on. You've got to do that on your own. Okay? Any questions on books? No sneezing in class. No coughing. No yawning. All you can do is breathe. Okay? All right. Let's look at... Nobody had any questions?
So you're going to be going off the new book then? You're going to get the...
Yeah, I think I've got a book in the office. Yeah, I'll be going off the new book. What book is it? What book are we using?
It's James Stewart Calculus. 8th
Stewart.
edition.
Is it the white one with the big blue thing on the front?
8th edition.
Okay, y'all got those. Okay, yeah. I got a white one. I think the book, the hardback is white. But anyway, we'll be working out of that one, but you can use whatever you want. All right, let me pull up I think I pulled up YouTube. I pulled that up. So all we got to do now is start with some algebra. I'm looking. I'm thinking. When I think, I got to pause for a minute. Let's see, 140. All right. Factoring exponential radicals. Okay, factoring rapid. We'll go over this list right here, and we'll try to cover this part right here. We'll cover the first three. This is algebra, and this is trig. We'll cover trig Thursday, and we'll cover algebra today, and try to cover as much as possible. Let's see if I can do this. Let me pull up another. Give me a second. And algebra. U4 calc. Dang, there's Stewart right there. Let's see what he's got. Okay, we can do that. We're going to use one quadratic formula. You got to use complete and square. All right. All right, y'all ready to go? Let's first of all go over the shortcuts, because we all know that, there we go. We all know with monomials, I meant binomials and trinomials and all the polynomials, we need to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now, multiplication we call distributive law. We also call FOIL, pronounce it however you like. And we also use those two. This is basically that, and this is basically that. And with division, we use factoring. And it undoes basically these two, reverse FOIL. And the shortcuts. We also use the shortcuts here. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go over adding and subtracting because most of you know how to add like terms, so I'm not going to worry about that. But I will focus on these two because in calculus, these are the two that are, especially these, people are rusty. Okay? So let's go over the shortcuts and how to use them. The first shortcut is a plus b, quantity squared, is equal to a plus b times a squared minus, I'm doing cubes. Sorry, I'm doing cubes. Hold on. Let's see if I can. No, I don't want to do the whole screen. Sorry. There we go. A squared plus 2ab plus b squared. 2. A minus b, quantity squared, is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. 3. A squared minus b squared is equal to a plus b times a minus b. 4. A cubed plus b cubed is equal to a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. And 5. A cubed minus b cubed is equal to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. Okay? Those are the 5 shortcuts. And you should be able to remember that those work both ways. If you are going this way, you are multiplying. If you're going this way, you're factoring. This way, multiplying. This way, factoring. This way, factoring. This way, multiplying. This way, factoring. This way, multiplying. And this way, factoring. This way, multiplying. So let's do a couple of these just to see if, just to knock the cobwebs loose. For those of you that's had college algebra, what, a year ago? I know you had it a year ago. You had it a year ago. You had it a year ago. A year ago. So let's put up a couple and see what happens. See if I can discourage you into quitting this class. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's do something simple. A squared minus 4. Well, which one does it look like? Well, it doesn't look like number 3 or number 4 or number 5. Why? Because perfect squares, not perfect cubes. So that takes away number 4 and 5. So it's either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Which one? Number 3. Difference of 2 squares. So it looks like this guy. And let me see if I can go back. Can I go back? How do I go back? There. I'm learning how to use this. It looks like this guy because this has parentheses and a square outside the parentheses. So it's not number 1 and number 2. It's number 3. And some of you are still writing the shortcuts down. That's why I went back. All right? So it's this guy. So what I tell students is when you find out which one it is, write the shortcut directly under the problem. So a squared is equal to a squared, and b squared is equal to what? 4. Well, we don't need a squared and b squared. We need what? A and b. So a is equal to a, and b is equal to what? So take these two guys, plug in there, and what do we get? A plus 2 and what? Now a lot of people say, well, that's a lot of work. Well, actually, all of this right in here, where should this be done? Where? In your head. Okay? Now, when you got through with your college algebra class, you should have been able to use the shortcuts in your head. Now, again, we're knocking some cobwebs loose, knocking some rust off. So you should be able, when we get through doing some homework problems, you should be able to go from here to here in just one step. That must be an eraser. Okay. I just now realized that. I just learned that. They didn't teach us that in the class Friday. They didn't know. All right? So let's try nerding. Nah. Let's do... I'm used to going to the other... Y'all have to forgive me. I'm used to the other board. X squared plus try that.